Okay, this is how you make starlight. This is my recipe, but I have been influenced in making it by NightHawkInLight. But I think he has also got an influence from a smaller YouTuber whose links I will both put in the description. This is what the premise is on. Basically, when you burn sugar or something which has carbon, CO2 is produced, which creates some carbon layers which burn and resist heat. This is the first three tests I'm gonna do. I'm gonna burn these three things. One of them has a paper cup, has a plastic cup taped on one side. The other one has an egg, and you can see that both aren't very thick. Um, I'm gonna hold the one with the plastic cup on one side and just put the egg in. I'm gonna put them in the fireplace to begin with. This is a quite different mix. It kind of looks like a chocolate cookie, but these black things are a part of my secret ingredients. So this is gonna be quite long. It's gonna be 40 seconds. So if you just wanna skip to the end, basically nothing happens to the plastic while I hold it there. Uh, my fireplace usually max out at something like 850 degrees Celsius, but this flame isn't that high, so I would think it'd be something around 6 to 700. Um, my end goal is to make a forge, which you will see later in the video, and I just want to show you some of the process and tests I do to try Starlight. The only problems that I have mainly had is that sometimes my mix is inconsistent and it will form some big carbon bubbles or however you want to call them in some spaces and some in not, and you can see that with this first test. So when making the forge I had to be very careful. But when taking out, it's very cool to the touch and I can immediately touch it. And also the plastic cup has nothing on it. Just one bit that was poking out the end in the bottom left corner has kind of burned. But it's totally fine. As you can see. Well, the layer was very small and I was holding it up in the fire for like 1 minute. And I'm gonna put the one that looks like cookie dough inside. And let's see what happens. Now, this test kind of failed because the flame was very small, so it just kind of smoked instead of burning. But for some reason, it did rise. It was like when you put bread in the furnace or a cake, where it just rises. It was very weird. As you can see, I burned it, but this test really doesn't say a lot. And if you want to go in the interesting part, you just would want to skip at the end. Now, the thing I really want to do is find a way to implement some kind of sugar, whether that's fructose or sucrose, I don't know, but implement it because it does form bigger bubbles, which means that it will be more heat resistant. But what happens is that the sugar melts as it burns and it forms the carbon bubbles. As you can see, it's mostly giving out smoke, which is the problem with my secret ingredient. Even though it's really good at absorbing heat, it does give out smoke, so it kind of defeats the purpose of starlight. Now, in order for this to be starlight, it has to hold up to 100,000 Celsius, which I think is like really impressive. But I know for a fact mine will hold up to about 2,000 because in a video that I will upload later, I did melt copper and my torch is rated for about 2,000 degrees, and I had it in there for a long time. And the forge, by the way, was absolutely fine. Like nothing had happened to it. Now putting in the egg, the temperature there is way higher than the one mentioned above because it is sitting on the fire I don't know if you can really see it, but behind it there is a big fire. Now, while both of my and NightHawk's Light recipes involve some materials which are the same, mine actually has 3 more ingredients, which I think really makes it more stronger, and helps it be cool to the touch after it burns. And also sorry, I'm looking to add a 6th material, a 6th the black thing that you saw, which looks like the chocolate chip cookie dough. And if I find a way to implement that, I think I would release the recipe, because it would be perfect. As you can see, it is swelling a lot more. This mix was better, and it is making those carbon bubbles where it's rising. If you just want to skip to the end, I have a clip where I just break the egg and reveal that it is uncooked. But I just have it there for those people. I have this here for those people who just want to, make sure that I actually did the thing and I'm not faking it. And I haven't found a way to speed this up with using the stock Windows programs. It's kind of lagging in my screen. I'm hoping it doesn't glitch on your screen too when I upload the video. Okay, I'm gonna take this out in a second, and I'm gonna immediately touch it to prove that it's not hot, even though this mix wasn't that good. As you can see, it has cracked a bit, and that is natural, because one of the ingredients has to dry off before this is usable. So as you can see, I can touch it. I hadn't waited for this to completely dry, because it does take about a week for it to be completely solid. But I'm gonna be taking this to my kitchen, and then I am going to prove that it's uncooked. I did cut. I know that was kind of stupid, but as you will see, it is the exact same egg, as you can see from the cracks and the burn patterns. As you can see, it is very soft inside still, and like only the outside layer was affected while it was there for like 2 minutes or something. A white part is gonna drop into the bowl with the yolk. That white part is just some starlight. It's not cooked yolk. Cooked white. How are they called? Egg whites. It's not a cooked egg white. It's just some starlight that was fallen, and that's why I'm pressing it together, just to show you that it's completely uncooked. I'm gonna show you how I made my forge. I basically just took the starlight and put it, I put this hairspray can inside to form the general shape of the cylinder inside, and then I made a hole with a marker, but you can just do it with your finger. Now, it did take a lot of time to dry, and I had to roll it out a few times, because due to gravity it would fall into itself, and I had to roll it out to keep it into the shape I want. Now I'll take a blowtorch to it, and I'm gonna melt some aluminum. As you can see, it is starting to glow red hot, and I will up the flames slowly. Now, this test was done at 18th of December, but I am recording this a bit later. I am making the video later. And as you can see, flames are coming in from above. As you will also see, it is getting really hot in there where the camera can't register it. And when I turn it off in a bit, you will see that some of the aluminum had melted, some hadn't. I didn't want to just completely burn my torch, and you can see that it's still red hot inside, and I can basically touch it anywhere and I have no problem. And it did kind of firm up from the inside, and this is how it looked. So you can basically totally make a forge out of this and you would be totally fine. Like, I see no problem with it. I have seen King of Random's forge and other people's forges, but I think this design kind of beats all of them. And what I also liked about this one is that you can make a mini knife making forge, and you can also make a foundry, a small foundry out of it, or even a bigger one. But I have found there's